This fourth Sunday of Easter, besides it being Mother's Day, is also known as Good Shepherd Sunday. Why? Because the readings were filled with that beautiful image of the Good Shepherd. And the message for this Sunday is quite simple. Jesus Christ is our Good Shepherd. End of homily. I couldn't do that because my mother is here, and I would hear about it at the end of Mass if I didn't give a homily. I don't know about you, but I really like the image of the Good Shepherd because of all the titles that we use of Jesus, for Jesus, this one is a very tender one that we can associate with. If you ever look at artistic depictions of the Good Shepherd, you'll always see the gentle but strong Jesus holding the cute little lamb over his shoulders, an image that is truly consoling. Now, what's going on? Okay. Now, if Jesus is the Good Shepherd, guess who are his sheep? We are. All of us are a bunch of sheep. Now, because we live in suburban America, we're not all too familiar with that image, but they say it's not the most flattering image to be compared to the sheep. While cute and cuddly, any farmer would tell you that the sheep are the dumbest animals around. They're flighty, they're ditzy, they're sensitive little things. And, they wander around everywhere, and then they end up, falling off a cliff. Or they get caught in a thicket. Or they end up on our dining room table for dinner. Along with the lechon that you'll eat later. But an attentive shepherd knows that the key to keeping the flock together is to provide them rest and refreshment and repose. And Jesus, our Good Shepherd, wants to give us that. He wants to give us rest, refreshment, and repose. Now, I hope that none of you are sleeping during my homily right now, all right? But Jesus wants to give us rest. How did Psalm 23 go? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In verdant pastures he gives me repose. Besides restful waters he leads me. He refreshes my soul. Rest. But for the shepherd to give his flock rest, it's going to take skill. It takes tenacity. It takes work. The experts say that a shepherd has to do three things. He has to make sure of three things in order for his flock to find rest. All right, three things. And I want to talk about those three things today because I think they give us practical lessons and show us how Jesus is truly our Good Shepherd. So three things, everyone. Lesson number one. To get rest, the sheep must be free from fear. If the sheep are scared, they run around crazy and anxious, and when the real threat comes, they get eaten. But when the shepherd shows up, the sheep calm down. They shut up. They relax. They know they're safe because their shepherd is with them. Well, brothers and sisters, isn't that how it is with us? We're a very fearful people, aren't we? We worry about all kinds of things. For example, there's no parking at church. We worry about that, right? We worry about our health. We worry about the house, the mortgage. We worry about money. We worry about all kinds of things. We toss and turn at night. Our days are not focused. Our life feels out of whack. But Jesus is our Good Shepherd, and he's watching out for us, protecting us and guarding us. There's no enemy that can defeat Jesus, not even Satan himself. So what are you afraid of? What are we afraid of? Jesus is our Good Shepherd, and he gives us safety and security. Lesson number one. Lesson number two, to get rest, the sheep must be free from strife with the other sheep. In other words, they can't be fighting with each other. Within the flock, the dominant sheep always butt heads with the others, but the fighting stops when the shepherd shows up. Well, let's talk about ourselves. Is there a lot of strife in our lives? You turn on the TV, you see the stuff in Crimea, in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Nigeria. But what about the strife in our own families, in our own lives? Do we yell and fight and scream with each other? You better get in the car, we're going to church, and if you don't go, I'm going to kill you. And then we get to church, we're so holy. And then we yell at everyone again when we get out the door. Do we spend our days criticizing everyone around us? Are we constantly comparing ourselves to other people, trying to upstage them, or even to belittle them? If we spend so much time doing this, we aren't going to get rest. So here's lesson number 2, everyone. Jesus is our good shepherd, and he brings us peace. Lesson number 3, the last one. To get rest, the sheep must be free from flies and parasites and bugs. Oftentimes the sheep, they're hanging out in the hills and they get all kinds of parasites that make a home in their body and in their skin. Before the 11 o'clock Mass, me, the deacon, and Deacon Richard, and Father Matt, and Deacon Tim were standing outside, and the bugs were swarming around us. And I'm like, all right, Lord, I get it. We're a bunch of sheep. And I know it wasn't the aura of holiness that they were attracted to around us. But anyway, the bugs irritate the sheep, and they leave all kinds of wounds and scars on their bodies. So the shepherd has to provide the medicine and nourishment and remedy. It doesn't take an expert to know this, though, everybody, that life has a tendency to leave scars on us. I'm not talking about physical scars. I'm talking about scars deep down in our soul and in our heart. The upsets of life, the thought of losing a child, losing a parent. But Jesus is our good shepherd, and he wants to tend to those wounds with the soothing ointment of his grace and his sacraments. He gives us health. So there's the 3 lessons, everyone. 3 ways that Jesus is our good shepherd. Let's review. He gives us safety and security. He gives us peace, and he gives us health. What are they? Security, peace, and health. Aren't those the things you guys are always praying for when you come to church? We fill the little basket with our intentions. We ask for the prayers from the priests for those things. Security, peace, and health. And the good news, everyone, is that Jesus is our good shepherd, and he's doing everything he can to give us that. To give us security, peace, and health. And I suppose in the end it makes all the sense to cry out with joy and exuberance, yes, the Lord is my shepherd, and there is nothing in this world, nothing indeed shall I want. Amen.